Hello everyone, my name is Dave Moriarty, and I'm a co-sponsor of tonight's event, and I'm going to be hosting half of this event, and then at the other half will be hosted by my good friend Neil Good. And I'll be sharing the duty with my childhood friend Neil Good. But first and foremost, I'd like to thank the college for letting us have this presentation here tonight. And a special thanks to Professor Claudine Barnes. Thank you, Claudine. We appreciate it. Okay. Without her insight and this presentation would not be able to be put on tonight. So a special thanks to Claudine. And all the great staff at the Cape Cod Community College. They do a terrific job here setting all of this up. So I really appreciate that. Thank you. Tonight we have a special night, special evening. We have Chuckie Green. This is added to the program. The program is going to be extended a little longer tonight because Chuckie's gracious ability to move his calendar around, and he was able to make it here tonight, and especially would like to welcome Benita Washington of the Aquinah tribe, who made a special trip down here to share her experience with you tonight. Thank you for coming, Benita. We thank everyone for participating, including all of you in the audience, for being with us here tonight to share what we hope will be an evening of understanding, appreciation, and education. Our goal here tonight is to inform and educate. We will try to expose to as many people as possible the history and the customs of the people of the first life, the Wampanog. Our friends, our co-workers, our elected officials, our firemen, our fishermen. These are the people who make up the fabric of the Cape and Islands community. These, not only are they the people of the first light, the Wampanog people, but they are our friends, they are members of our community, and we respect them, and we encourage them to keep their culture and their history alive with their traditions. And we respect all religions here on the Cape and Islands. We don't think anyone's religion is silly, or their practices. So we have a wonderful surprise for everyone here this evening. Our program this evening, as I said, has been extended to allow time for Chuckie Green to share with us some of his culture and his history. We could not make this announcement in the press release because of the time restraint. We thank both Chuckie and Bettina for rearranging their schedules to be with us tonight. Thank you. I would just like to say a few things, and then I would like to have Chuckie come up and share his experience as a Native American Indian with us. Like I say, I'm a lifelong resident of Falmouth, Massachusetts. We grew up with the Wampanogs. They're our friends. They're not a separate group that you can just say things about and have no consequences. This is our neighbor. You wouldn't go to your neighbor's house, knock on his door, and say that his religious practices are silly. I don't think anybody in this room would do something like that. But we have newspaper editors, we have elected officials, not respecting our friends, our community members, and we're here tonight to stand with the Wampanogs. And we're here tonight to let them know that the people of the Cape Islands are with them and support them, and support their struggle, and are here for them until the bitter end. So thank you. So without any further ado, will we hear from Mr. Chuckie Green.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all very much for coming, and I too offer my thanks to the college and all of their staff for allowing us to have this time and to be able to help and educate the people of Cape Cod to where we come from, who we are, and why the Sound is important to our tribe. My name is George Chuckie Green. I am the Tribal Historic Preservation Authority for the Mashpee Wampanog tribe. I am also the Natural Resources Assistant Director for the Mashpee Wampanog tribe. So I have the good fortune to now be able to do something that I did for free for 30 years and actually collect a paycheck. So if any of you are wondering how I'm getting rich at this job, well, first of all, you're wrong, because it doesn't pay that well. Oh well. Tonight I'm here to try to convey our culture, history, and religion, and our connection to Nantucket Sound. This is something that's very important to me. People say that we have come along the tribes as late bloomers and last minute people to enter into this discussion. I take offense to that, first of all. The tribe has a long, long history. And I'd like to, right now, try to establish a timeline. But first European contact here in the United States is celebrated as the arrival of Columbus, and that would be 1492. So that would give us, since contact, 517 years. Second contact here in Massachusetts is 1620. So if we move up to that, we're at 389 years. Well, the Wampanoag people have occupied this land for 13,000 years. Take that and think about it. The amount of time that the Wampanoag people have existed here. We have evidence to prove that Horseshoe Shoals was above ground for 6,000 years. So if we take that and we think about that number, well, we've been around for 12,000. We lived on the Sound for 7,000. 10,000 years ago, 10,000 years before the birth of Christ, we were there. We were on the Sound. We were living there. Our people lived there, walked those lands, raised their families, hunted, fished. And it was because the glaciers had drawn back the water. The ground was there. We were coastal people. We went out to the coast. Martha's Vineyard in Nantucket and Horseshoe Shoals were hills and valleys. They were the place where we gathered our foods, chopped wood, built homes, raised families. For 7,000 years. The United States holds no candle to that. Most cultures can't trace back to that far. When we first opened discussions about the sound, the Aquinah, Tippos, and myself discussed that our oral histories told us this, that our legends told us this, told us that we existed out here, and this was a part of us for way before time that we knew. This has been a part of who we are. The sound defines us. We are the people of the first light, people of the dawn. I don't know how to explain it any better than the name that was given to us. But we all need to remember that for 7,000 years, and that's what I want everyone to think about. 7,000 years we lived there. So you know that we have burials out at that place. You know that that is someplace that is sacred to the tribes, and something that we didn't just think about and become the Johnny Come-Latelys. We've been discussing these issues with the government since the 80s, talking about making the sound into a national sanctuary, talking about ways of protecting our ancestors. We've been in this discussion for a long time. The process that was supposed to protect our rights. Well, step one of that process was to initiate that process. Well, that process was not initiated for us by the agencies. The second part of that was to identify the historic properties and apply the National Register criteria. That was something else that was put off and is now coming to fruition. The third part was to assess the adverse effects and then resolve those effects. If that resolve could not happen, then it was to go to the Park Service. Well, folks, that's where we are. We're at step 4 in a 6-step process. And we should be at the end of the process after the many years that they say we've been in the process. But we just got invited into the process. We have, as tribes, written our responses to the DEIS, to the EIS. We have participated in every opportunity that they've given us. There's not much more I can say about the process, and I really don't care to go into the little ins and outs of the process. But the tribes, we don't feel that in this process we've received our due. And we look to save our son. Our son has a strong religious attraction to us. The first light. We are the people of the first light. Let me make this clear. That morning horizon sunrise is a part of our ceremony. The celestial happenings that happen over the sun are a part of our ceremonies. Putting a large lighted power plant in the middle of this situation would be detrimental to our culture. It would make us unable to pass that culture on to our children and our grandchildren. We the people of the first light. We the people that met the pilgrims. We the people that supported the pilgrims in their quest for religious freedom now stand in a position where our religious freedoms are being threatened. I don't know how everyone in this room feels. I don't know a lot of the people in this room. And I hope that you all listened to me and thought about what I've had to say. Because if we do even get the designation as being a traditional cultural place, it's still going to be up to the Secretary to decide if that is taken from us. Everything that we have has been taken from us. We were even given a town, 22 square miles, forever. Well, I think the way it was put was, till the rivers don't run, till the wind doesn't blow. I don't know, Jim, maybe you'll correct me on that one. I think that's how it was put, but it was put as forever. I guess we don't understand forever, because that's not what we have now. We have a small portion of a great town, and I am, like Wampanogs have been in all of our history, willing to share that town with the people who dwell there with me now and make it the best that it can be. I'm looking right now to preserve a resource that's connected to me, my culture, my religion, but also a resource that we also share with everyone in this room, with everyone on Cape Cod, with everyone for thousands of miles away. It's a national treasure. If the keeper decides, then we need every person to come forward and step up and support that decision of the keeper. And let's place this wind park in a place where we do better. We offered the tribes. We went and did alternatives. We offered alternatives that are viable, alternatives that would work, alternatives with better wind. We have better wind, and that's been documented. When they did the first research, they checked the wind all the way around the outside of the Cape, all the way around the outside of the islands. The best wind is not located in Horseshoe Shoals. We need to think of our other neighbors, the 1,200 fish that we put out of work that are feeding their families. I didn't even want to get this far into the little pros and cons, and I had actually told David I wasn't going to, but I'm kind of caught up in this, and this is my home. I love the Cape. I will always be here. I will raise my grandchildren here, and I will raise my grandchildren in the Wampanoag tradition. All I can ask is the support of everyone else. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chuckie. At this time, I'd like to invite Benita Washington up from the Aquinah tribe of the Wampanoag, Martha's Vineyard.
Good evening. I'd like to thank everybody for coming. I'd like to thank Cape Cod Community College for this opportunity to educate. I feel this is something that needs to be done after all the editorials, all the newspaper articles. It's a learning experience for me as a Child Historic Preservation Officer, and I believe it's been a learning experience for the agency, and it continues to be a learning experience for the public. This is really a ruse. I don't have anything to say. But I have to agree with everything Chuckie said. We have been here a long time. We are an old people. And when we talk about the sound, I don't know if any of you have been to Martha's Vineyard in the summer, but, okay, for over half a century, we have put on a pageant, which is the Legend of Mashpee. That is our oral history. And it tells how we came from the mainland, walked over the sound, and Mashpee made the waters rush in. So he created Nopi, Martha's Vineyard. He created no man's land. That's a crab. Elizabeth Islands are his footsteps. Nantucket is a bride's dowry. Because for us, it's the mother's line that carries and holds the land. All these things we've been telling for years. But no one's listening. Or it was just a story. And I can understand that. It may seem like a story to everyone else. But to us it's real. It's our history. So when it came time for this process, no one listened to it. Again. 2004, Cheryl Andrews Maltese, the previous tipper who is now our chair, stated that Nantucket Sound was a traditional cultural property. 5 years ago, we are not joining come lately. The fact that nobody listened to us is not our fault. I just want to make that very clear. So now, everybody gets to learn what a traditional cultural property is and how important it is to us. Because it's not, while it is ceremony, and while it does somewhat equate to religion as the general public knows, these practices are our life. It is what makes us want to know it. These practices are something that is our responsibility. Some of the Western tribes, they will thank the Eastern tribes because they know the Eastern tribes welcome the sun. It's not just our own little place in the world. That defines us in relationship to the Northeast tribes, to the tribes behind us, all the way to the West Coast. It defines our place on Turtle Island. These practices. As Tribal Historic Preservation Officer, I explain this to people because I've been duly authorized by the tribal government. So if you were to ask me, do you get up every morning and do this? That wouldn't matter. One, it's my personal responsibility and it's my personal religion. Moreover, it is my job to ensure that our people have the opportunity to continue to carry out our traditional practices. I wish I could say that I'm proud to be from this state, but over the last couple months, reading the responses to these editorials and to these articles has given me pause. Because as far as I know, I have not done anything to anybody to warrant the type of responses we have got. And I was surprised, to say the least, that my religious practices could be attacked and questioned. Where is this coming from? Because if anyone or if any people have the right to be a little upset, we had our land stolen from us. There were laws created so we could not own property. Diseases spread among us. And at one time, our traditional people were either put in jail or they were killed in order so we would not be able to do these practices. These very things that we still continue to do. And we wonder why there's not a lot of people out doing these things, I found out that. Because I grew up in a planning gay area. So we were pretty much the town when I was growing up. So these things were unusual for us. It's only when I started talking to other Wampanoags that did not live where I lived that, yeah, but we don't talk about it. Suppressed. Is that what this has cost us? Because now, with these laws, we have the right to stand up and say, yes, this is mine. Yes, this is ours. And yes, this is our practice. That's my job. That's my job as Tribal Historic Preservation Officer. That's my job as a tribal member. That is my job as a Wampanoag mother. I think about what our ancestors, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, my parents stood up for. What they had to let pass along. For me, this is where I draw the line in the sand. This is where I draw the line in the sand. And we'll use the laws and the regulations. And if it comes up on our side, great. Because what happens is when we win, usually everybody else gets to enjoy it too. We're fighting to save this place for our religious practices. And everybody else is going to be able to have a great view. If it goes the other way, there will be other battles. I know that. There always will be. You can't live here for 13,000 plus years and not have traditional cultural properties surrounding you. So if they surround us, they surround all of you too. Thank you for coming this evening, and I'm sure it's going to be an enlightening experience for all.